Hello and welcome to Storybox. My name is Rachel and today we have activity that is inspired by France. We are going to be doing a poetry reading of a poem inspired by France's capital city, Paris. So whether you've been to France or not, I'm sure that you probably know something about the country. You might know something about the type of food that they eat and the things that they drink. You might know a few French words or phrases. So what does come into your head when you think about France? What do you associate with France? When I think about France, I always think about croissants and baguettes and the smell of fresh bread. And pain au chocolat as well. I enjoy a good pain au chocolat. I also think about the architecture as well. I've never been, but I always think about the Eiffel Tower, the big tall structure. So yeah. We are going to have a look at a poem which is called Paris in Spring. Now, if you'd like to, you can read along with me, and if you go into the description below, there is a link to the poem and you can download it there. Or if you just scroll down, there will be the poem in the description as well for you there. Or if you just want to listen along to me reading, that is absolutely fine as well. You can just listen to me reading the poem to you. While I'm doing that, while I'm reading the poem, you might like to have a little think about how it makes you feel. Are there any words or phrases that you particularly like? Is there anything that the poem makes you think of? Okay, so I'm going to read it now. And the poem is called Paris in Spring by Sara Teasdale. The cities all are shining beneath a fickle sun. A gay young winds are blowing, the little shower is done. But the raindrops are still clinging and falling one by one. Oh, it's Paris, and springtime has begun. I know the Bois is twinkling in a sort of hazy sheen, and down the Champs the grey old arch stands cold and still between. But the walk is flecked with sunlight, where the great acacias lean. Oh, it's Paris, and the leaves are growing green. The sun's gone in, the sparkle's dead, there falls a dash of rain, but who would care when such an air comes blowing up the Seine? And still Ninette sits sewing beside her window pane, when it's Paris, and springtime's come again. So, do you recognise that poem? I wonder if you've heard of it before. Have you heard of the writer before? I've never heard of it before, but I quite like it. I liked reading that, I enjoyed that. How do you feel about the poem? How does it make you feel? It makes me feel quite calm actually. And it makes me feel like I'm going on a little wander and an exploration through the city. The writer has chosen a few places to visit and is seeing them through the rain. She's kind of using the rain almost to see the beauty, I feel. Yeah. Are there any phrases that you particularly like in this poem? Are there any words that stand out to you? For me, I really like the line, but the walk is flecked with sunlight. The walk is flecked with sunlight. it makes me think of sunlight coming through trees, when you can see leaves making shadows and just dancing, the sunlight's dancing through. And it's almost like when you're walking along and you can feel the sun on your arms, you find a nice warm patch. So it gives me that feeling. What do you think the mood of the poem is? How do you think the writer was feeling when they wrote it? I think it is a calm poem, and I think the writer is feeling quite proud. I think they're very proud of their city. And even though it's raining, everything looks beautiful to them still. And I wonder if we could describe the poem just using 3 words. So if you could choose just 3 words to sum up this poem, it might be how you feel, what it reminds you of. For me, I think I would choose atmospheric, descriptive and rhyming. Because that's another part of it. There are some rhyming words in this poem. I don't know if you can find any of them. A couple of the rhyming words that I like are where the great acacias lean, and then a couple of lines down it says, and the leaves are growing green. So I wonder if you have your 3 words, you could maybe write them in the comments below, or you could just leave us a comment with how you feel about the poem. Do you like it? And I wonder if you've ever been to Paris, or have you seen any of the things that are in this poem, any of the places that the writer talks about? Or if not, what did you see there? I haven't been to Paris, but I would like to go. I would quite like to sit in a cafe, a nice Parisian cafe, drinking and eating with some Parisian music in the background. Maybe I'd like to visit some of the places as well. The writer talks about the Bois and the gardens, so I'd like to visit there. And I'd also like to see the Eiffel Tower as well. Shall we read it together one more time to finish? Again, you can read along with me, or you can just listen. That's absolutely fine too. So from the top, Paris in Spring by Sara Teasdale. The cities all are shining beneath a fickle sun. A gay young winds are blowing, the little shower is done. But the raindrops still are clinging and falling one by one. And oh, it's Paris, and springtime has begun. I know the Bois is twinkling in a sort of hazy sheen, and down the Champs the grey old arch stands cold and still between. But the walk is flecked with sunlight where the great acacias lean. Oh, it's Paris, and the leaves are growing green. The sun's gone in, the sparkle's dead, there falls a dash of rain. But who would care when such an air comes blowing up the Seine? And still Ninette sits sewing beside her window pane. When it's Paris, and springtime's come again. Thank you for joining in this activity. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to access some more Storybox resources, there is a link below, and you can access them easily wherever you are. And you can also click on the subscribe button, and that will subscribe you to our channel, and you'll be alerted every time we upload a new video. So thank you again for joining in with this Storybox activity, and that's bye for now.